foremost secret society of magical six talented musicians. Oh my god. I don't know why I did that, to be honest. It was literally just a red sprayed edge and I paid 40 quid for it, so there we go. I'm gonna go with it, and if I read it and it's not, then I will have been wrong. Looking over my TBR shelf, I just feel like poo. Welcome back to another video. My name is Ro, and today we're going through some 5-star predictions. So I actually haven't done one of these videos in a while because I tend to do a lot of like most anticipated or a lot of TBRs, and most of the time I do tend to put on my TBR things that I want to read. So a lot of the time I do curate my TBR to the point where I read what I think I want to read that I think I will like, therefore hoping it is a 5-star. But this kind of video, obviously I haven't done for a while, but I thought I should have a little look at my TBR and just like go through what I have had on it for a while, or what I've been meaning to get to for a while, and have a look and see what I think will be a 5-star, or hope will be a 5-star, or I think will be a 5-star based on certain things. Now, I have tried to pick authors that I have not read before, books that I have not read in a series, like these are authors new to me, because to me it's almost obvious that an author I've read before and liked would be a 5-star prediction. So I'm going to try and change that up a bit for you guys and talk about some books that I have no idea what the writing is like, no idea what the author is like. I just have a hunch that I am going to rate it 5 stars. So the first up for this one is going to be The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. This was a self-published book. This is the self-published paperback. It has now been picked up by either Orbit or Tor, I think, and it actually has a really nice new cover, and if I like this, we'll be buying the hardback. But I think it's quite cool to have like the original kind of self-published paperback. I don't know if they will be continuing these or if not, but this, it has like, I guess not trials, but more of like a competition in it, and that is one of my favourite tropes. Trials / tournaments is kind of top dog for me. You guys know this. So it is also about a secret society, which again is right up my street. So the Alexandrian Society, caretakers of lost knowledge from the greatest civilizations of antiquity, are the foremost secret society of magical academicians in the world. Those who earn a place among the Alexandrians will secure a life of wealth, power, and prestige beyond their wildest dreams. So every decade, only the 6 most talented Every decade, 6 talented musicians. Oh my god. Every decade, 6 talented magicians are selected to be considered for initiation. This book follows the latest round of 6. 2 of them, who I assume are twins, can exert uncanny control over every element of physicality. Interested to see what that will be like. Someone is a naturalist who can intuit the language of life itself. Another one's a telepath. Callum is an empath. And Tristan, he can see through illusions into a new structure of reality. An ability so rare that neither he nor his peers can fully grasp its implications. I really love powers. I love tournaments, I love secret societies, and so the candidates are recruited by someone mysterious. They have 1 year to qualify for initiation, during which time they will be permitted preliminary access to the society's archives, and they'll be judged based on their contributions to various subjects of impossibility: time and space, luck and thought, life and death. Only 5 of them are going to be initiated, and 1 will be eliminated. So they're basically fighting to survive the next year of their lives. I think it sounds amazing. I genuinely think like something like this is exactly what I need. Like fun fantasy, but like with a kind of contemporary fantasy twist. Although I don't know when it's set, but it sounds like it should be quite modern. Interested to see like relationships between these 6, any relationships between any of them, sibling or, you know, otherwise. So best friends before? Do they know each other before? Are any of them in love with each other? Genuinely, like, very intrigued by this. And I've heard amazing things. I don't think I have heard a bad word about this book yet. And it is only 380 pages, so it's not actually that long. But it looks, it's tall for a paperback, but also the writing is fairly large. It's alright. The thing is I hate talking about 5-star predictions because then I really want to read them straight away. These are nowhere near my TBR until next year. Next up is a book that I should have read in March, and that is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. This is the Illumicrate edition. I really like these maroon edges. I think they're really nice. Now, I've actually heard a lot of mixed things about this book, but it is in what is called in the book community the Sapphic Trifecta, which is this, The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri, and She Who Became the Sun by this is C.L. Clarke. Oh my god. Because they're all sapphic, kind of historical, diverse books, and they all kind of have a similar colour scheme. I have actually heard not like really good or really bad things, but like really mediocre things about this book. But then again, I think all three of these books were marketed quite badly because they pushed on the sapphic part, but the sapphic part in Jasmine Throne is very, very small subplot, and I personally didn't see any chemistry. She Became the Sun, I'm over halfway, and like no sapphicness has happened yet. People need to realise, I think, going in, that these are historical fantasies first, and sapphic romance second. I had my own issues with the Jasmine Throne, but I'm kind of glad going in to She Who Became the Sun, which I'm over halfway through right now, and The Unbroken, knowing and like fixing in my mind, like, okay, this is a historical fantasy. The relationship is not the forefront, it is not the focus. And also the fantasy part is also a bit of a small part as well, which I think a lot of people didn't realise. They thought the fantasy part of it was very big. In all three books, to be honest. And it's not. It's really not. It's very heavy on the historical. And if you don't like that, then you will not have a good time. But this is North African inspired, if I remember correctly. So Terrain is a soldier. This is Terrain. The arms look amazing. She was stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. She owes loyalty only to her fellow conscripts, but now she's been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and the ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone who can sway the rebels towards peace, while Luca focuses on what really matters, winning back her throne. Through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Terrain and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. The feeling that I get from this book is like that synopsis is quite vague. I'm not super keen on vague synopses, as much as I don't like to know what's going on in a book or like know too much going in. Sometimes vague synopses can annoy me because a lot of the time they're not really relevant to the book. Because like if I read that synopsis, I would not have picked this up. But I think the hype from Twitter, and especially I've followed C.L. Clarke on Twitter for a while whilst it was coming out. And yeah, I've been wanting to read this since it came out in March. I just think I will really enjoy it. Like I just have a feeling that I will really enjoy it. I really hope I'll enjoy it because it seems really like my kind of thing. Next up we have Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Now I have not read any John Gwynne yet. I am planning on reading Malice. I have bought the Broken Binding Malice special edition, which is, I don't know why I did that, to be honest. It was literally just a red sprayed edge and I paid 40 quid for it, so there we go. So Shadow of the Gods, this is the Goldsboro edition, which has cool red sprayed edges. This is a Norse mythology book with dragons, and I don't actually know too much else about it. It says a century has passed since the gods fought and drove themselves to extinction. Now only their bones remain, promising great power to those brave enough to seek them out. As whispers of war echo across the land of Vigrid, fate follows in the footsteps of three warriors, a huntress on a dangerous quest, a noblewoman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall seeking vengeance among the mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. All three will shape the fate of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods. So, set in a brand new Norse-inspired world packed with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance. So it's a new epic fantasy saga. Not too long, but by my count, for an epic fantasy. Yeah, just about 480 pages. So under 500. Not bad. I've heard really, really good things about John Gwynne's writing. He's also Welsh, if not obvious by the surname. So I'm excited to dive in. And Malice is actually quite long. The quartet is fairly long. So I think jumping in with something a little bit shorter and also like kind of wanting to have a bit of Norse inspired, which I know Malice is very like Viking inspired anyway, but having something Norse inspired, and it seems like a couple of female main characters, I feel like this will be pretty good. I don't really have like much more that's kind of grabbing me towards it, other than the good things I've heard about his writing in Malice and in general. So I guess that's kind of it for this one. Didn't really have much to say. I did get it a good few months ago. Oh, and it's signed, I always forget, number 158. And apparently this is really sought after on like selling groups, but I want to read it before I decide anything like that. So yeah. Next is one that I have actually acquired recently, and that is Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kuznia. This is basically a Christmas book. This has got lovely stencil edges from Waterstones, and this is about a ballerina, and it's set in Nottingham 1906, so that's in England if anyone didn't know. She longs to be a ballerina, but as Christmas draws nearer, her dancing days are numbered. She must marry and take up her place in society in the new year. But when a mysterious toy maker purchases a neighbouring townhouse, it heralds the arrival of magic and wonder in her life. He constructs an elaborate theatrical set for her final ballet performance on Christmas Eve, but she discovers that that is magical and it's quite dark magic. So as the clock chimes midnight, she finds herself transported from her family's ballroom to a frozen sugar palace, silent with secrets in a forest of snow-topped fir trees. She must find a way to return home before she's trapped in Everwood's enchanting grip forever. This is fairly short again. This is maybe like, I'd say 380 pages. 350, not too bad. Close. I like guessing how long books are by seeing how thick they are. This I'm hoping to read like on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, like that is the plan. You will probably see a little bit of a vlog of that, which will be quite fun. I do need to take this sticker off as well, actually, exclusive Waterstones edition. Oh, and it's got bonus content apparently. Who knew? Not me, even though there's a sticker on the front. But yeah, there is like an edition of this in indie stores, which has this ballerina kind of motif on the front. So this Waterstones edition doesn't, but the indie editions do. But the end papers are also really pretty. So yeah, a Christmassy book. I have never in my life read a Christmassy book. In general, like I've never read one at Christmas, never read one any other time of year, never even read like specifically wintry books at Christmas or in December. In fact, this year was the first year that I actually read spooky books at Halloween. So for some reason I'm reading on theme this year. I don't know when I decided that. Or whether it was subconscious and I wanted to do it, or seeing everyone else do it, I guess. But it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed October and I'm hoping to enjoy December after my exams. And yeah, I've seen actually a lot of hype about this. I have seen Beth in particular from Books Nest really enjoying this. So I am really excited to read it over Christmas. I'm just excited for Christmas in general, I think. Genuinely. Even though it's like not technically mine and George's first Christmas together, because obviously we have been together for like 4 Christmases now. Or is this the 5th? This is the 5th Christmas together that me and George are having. This is kind of the first one we're having away from family, because obviously we're going away to the Peak District for like a cottage getaway, but usually we go to my parents for Christmas dinner because my dad is a really good cook. This year will be our first one together completely alone, and I'm hoping to like get some traditions going kind of thing. It's really weird kind of starting your own traditions and your own family. I mean, we're not planning on having kids, but we want like cats/dogs. So that is our family, and us together as well. We are just a family. Like, he is family to me. He's not just my fiance or just my boyfriend or just a guy that I'm with. Like, he's my family now. So I want to like, I mean, you guys understand what I mean. I want to buy our own decorations. I want to have our own traditions and our own time together. So I think like reading together would be nice and things like that. So like, I don't know why, like, stuff like this, like, sets you off on a tangent of, like, nostalgia about Christmas, so I will shut the fuck up now. So the very last book that I want to speak to you guys about is not one that I actually have physically. So this is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. This I have heard so many good things about, not just from Katie from Brightness Katie Reads, but from a few people on Twitter who have read it. I think maybe they have read it because of Katie as well. But I got this on Kindle like really cheap, like 99 pence. This is an Asian fantasy, Asian epic fantasy if I remember correctly. So it is about a mother struggling to repress her violent past, a son struggling to grasp his his violent future, and a father blind to the danger that threatens them all. So there's a war going on. The Matsuda family, will they have the strength to defend their empire? So high on a mountainside on the edge of the Kaigenese Empire lives the most powerful warriors in the world. Superhumans capable of raising the sea and wielding blades of ice. So kind of very Avatar, Last Airbender. So for hundreds of years they've held the Empire's enemies at bay, earning their frozen spit of land the name the Sword of Kaigen. Born into Kusanagi's legendary Matsuda family, 14-year-old Mamoru has always known his purpose: to master his family's fighting techniques and defend his homeland. But when an outsider arrives and pulls back the curtain on Kaigen's alleged age of peace, Mamoru realises that he might not have much time to become the fighter he was bred to be. Worse, the empire he was bred to defend may stand on a foundation of lies. And then Misaki told herself that she left the passions of her youth behind when she married into the Matsuda house. Determined to be a good housewife and mother, she hid away her sword, along with everything from her days as a fighter in a faraway country. But with her growing son asking questions about the outside world, the threat of an impending invasion, and her frigid husband grating on her nerves, Misaki finds the fighter in her clawing its way back to the surface. To me, that sounds incredible. It sounds like real, female boss bitch stuff coming out. As well as, I think this is based on Japanese names and lore, and I assume ML Wang is Japanese. That is me just basing that on the types of names they have. I do not know exactly, but the names sound Japanese to me, so I'm gonna go with it. And if I read it and it's not, then I will have been wrong. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds very up my street. I'm always on the lookout for more Japanese fantasy because I really love anime and manga, of course, and I would love to read more fantasy books, novels based on Japanese culture, because you get a lot of Chinese and you get a lot of South Asian, but I feel like I don't get a lot of Japanese fantasy. And I do have a few on my radar that I've not read yet, but again, they're not physically in my hands, and I'm trying to get rid of my physical TBR, so they're not really a priority for me right now, only because I don't own them physically. Looking over my TBR shelf, I just feel like poo. I don't want to read all. I don't know if I can read all that. It's too much. But anyway, yeah, so Sword of Kaigen I've heard really, really good things about. Hopefully, I think it's quite long. I think it might be 500-600 pages. And it's a series. No, I think that's a standalone. And then I'm thinking of Chronicles of the Butch Queen, which is a series. I think the Sword of Kaigen is a standalone. On Goodreads, it does not say... Oh wait, Theonite? Oh, okay, so there's the Theonite series, which is by the same author, but this is a standalone just set in the same world as the Theonite series, which I will probably check out after I read this, if I like it. I have pretty much no doubt that I will like it, hence it being on a 5-star prediction video, but I'm very excited to read it. I don't know when I will read it. It's like one of those things where you think about books and you're like, oh, I really want to read that, but not right now. I'm not in the mood for that right now. I am so temperamental with knowing what I want to read, especially when I'm stressed or studying / doing exams. I have no idea what to do with myself, and it's very stressful, but it's fine. Reading is meant to be fun, you know? Reading is what? Fundamental. Yeah, okay. Thank you guys for watching this video. Apologies if I was a bit of a mess. This is my first video I'm filming after waking up, and I think I should have probably had breakfast first. Let's put it that way. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like below. Comment a little star emoji if you were here but you didn't really want to say anything, but you wanted to let me know that you were here. Make sure that you subscribe so you get all of the future content from me in your inbox. All of my links are in the description below, including my Patreon. Speaking of my Patreon, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone at my deity tier. So that is Becca, Meg, Rachel, Lisa, Lydia, Mercy, Sarah, Liv, Adinda, Tori, and Celeste. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!